Walter, Clyde, Anthony, Aloysius, Frazier. How you been, pal? Good to see you.
Doing good.
Look at you, 81? Stop the presses. What is that all about?
I don't feel a day over 80.
Well, good to have you. That's Big Mac over there. I know you haven't met him yet, so appreciate you coming in. And
I appreciate the
hoops.
kudos, man. My friends are telling me, man, these guys are always talking about you.
Because
great. I really appreciate it.
You and I talked about this maybe a decade ago. And I made a very passionate plea to Big Mac, who's a younger Knicks fan, obviously, than I am, that, and I don't want to put you in a spot here, but let's just get into it. It has always irked me as a diehard Knicks fan. I'm born in 1969. Knicks are my favorite team of all my teams. Everybody knows that. That when we talk about Game 7, we always talk about Willis Reed first. Willis Reed had a great series. No one's denying that. But making 2 buckets in 27 minutes is not dropping damn near 40, 20, and 10 like you did. Your nickname should be Game 7, Frazier, is what it should be. So let's just, I know when you were younger that might have bothered you, but does it bother you to this day at all or no? Are you totally past it?
Well, it doesn't bother. You know why? Willis Reed is my idol. I learned about tenacity on the court, altruism off the court, how to deal with the fans. If you see my handwriting, I copied his handwriting.
Is that right?
Really? He has a great handwriting. So he meant so much to me. So when that happened, I was 25 years old. And, I'm trying to get up there with Oscar Robertson and Jerry West, Earl the Pearl, and I have that kind of game. And, I said, hey, man, that's bullshit.
Right.
I should have been the MVP. Yeah. But I never held it against Willis because Willis was management. They love Willis. Like I said, I was a young guy coming up. Mm-hmm. Willis had been there. He had been the team up until this point. So they loved him, and that's why the media got together and they worked it out that he
It was never Willis's fault that they picked him.
Right.
But as a kid who goes, 39, 17, and 7, against, by the way, a great Laker team. Not a good Laker team. That's Jerry West. That's Will Chamberlain, et cetera, et cetera. Right. I would have called it BS also. Not because I'm mad at Willis, but F you guys. Look what I just did. Yeah. To this day, all these years later, it's not even arguable. The greatest Game 7 in the history of the NBA.
Well, I get more kudos now than then.
Really?
Because people see the game and they go, man, I didn't know Frazier had a game like that.
Right.
But, if Willis didn't do what he did, I wouldn't have done what I did.
Why is that?
Because just seeing him on the court gave us so much.
So let's walk through that. My perspective is Marv Albert's call, of course, as Willis comes out pregame. Right. Did you guys have any idea?
I have to go before that.
Go ahead.
Okay, there's no social media.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I make a few calls to see if Willis would play. In Game 6, Chamberlain had like 40 points and 26 rebounds.
Yeah.
Right. So I couldn't find out nothing. At the time, I was living in the New Yorker.
Okay.
Right at 33rd and 8th. So I walk over to the game, and Willis is in the training room. And up until a few years ago, I didn't know he had been there all day.
Is that right?
He was there like at 8 o'clock in the morning getting
treatment. Right.
Right. So we kept going in asking would he play, and Holtzman said, get the hell out of here, guys. Whether he play or not, you guys have to play, so get ready to play. So when we left the locker room, we had no idea that Willis was coming.
Mm-hmm. I want to get this right. Walt Frazier picks up the phone, calls somebody, right? I don't even, who did you call? And no one gives you an answer?
No one. Right, we haven't heard from Willis. We don't know if he'll play or not.
They didn't know at that point.
So when he walks out of the tunnel, that's the first time you thought he might actually play tonight?
Yeah, and I saw West, I saw Baylor, I saw Chamberlain. They stopped doing what they were doing. They were like mesmerized watching Willis. And when I saw that, I said to myself, man, we got these guys. It gave me so much confidence. And then you alluded to the fact he made 2 baskets.
Yeah. 27 minutes, 2 buckets.
He made the first 2 hoops, and the die was cast.
That was it.
The crowd never shut up. They just got louder. And I saw West lose his cool for a moment. Chamberlain, I don't know what he was doing. He never really challenged Willis.
Yeah.
Willis couldn't move. The guy was on one leg.
He was like Joel Embiid.
Yeah. But I always say it was destiny.
Yeah.
If we played them 10 times after that, we would not have won.
Really?
But for this one game,
that's all you needed.
Everything fell in place. So
So there you go. Because my argument was, obviously you have the great game. There's no doubt about it. And sure, it's overshadowed by that moment. But Craig hardly gives it any credence at all. Obviously, him stepping out and having that moment on the floor not only impacted you, it impacted the Lakers. You visibly saw them kind of adjust to the idea, we thought Willis was out.
Well, Willis was the backbone of the team.
Yeah.
No, he's a great player.
So when he's sitting in the locker room, we're saying, Willis, you got to play, man. Just half of you is better than anybody we got. We got who? Nate Bowman?
I was going to say, who's the backup? Right. That's right.
Well, we already saw how Wilt pulverized those guys the game before.
Yeah.
So we were like, Willis, man, if you could give us anything. But Willis said he would never been able to live with himself
if he didn't try.
If he didn't try.
I appreciate that.
If he didn't try.
I think I don't want to label a generation one way or the other because it's not fair. But I do think there's a difference, generation. Maybe the money's got a lot to do with it, to be fair. Well, you guys were well paid based on 1970s income. What these guys make today is obviously off the charts. Does it ever bother you? Like Willis Reed had that notion, I can't live with myself if I don't try. I'm going to go out there on one leg. If I can go, great. If not, at least I can live with myself. And it seems today, while they're better athletes than ever, they shoot the ball better than ever, but I don't think this generation of basketball players has that same, I guess, fire. Maybe it's a respect for the game. How do you look at it?
Yeah, they don't have that tenacious work ethic like we had because we was afraid to leave because you don't play somebody get your job and you're out of work.
Right, they get a real job.
So you're going to go if you can go. That was the mentality in those days. Today, even the teams don't want the guys to play.
Which is crazy.
You see the guys want to play, but the teams want to hold them out. So it's a different mentality that they're faced with today.
And I think the great juxtaposition of that is the video, if you haven't seen it, I'll walk you through it, that we saw from Jalen Brunson yesterday, where a reporter says to him, hey, as a superstar, you don't have the ball in your hands as much as you used to. Does that bother you? And Jalen Brunson, totally deadpan in the camera, said, number one, I'm not a star. Number two, I just want to win. Next question. And to me, that's such a throwback, to your era.
Right. See, and he's the kind of guy who would be like Willis. He reminds me a lot of Willis. Always sharing, caring, giving, team first concept. And by doing that, he has the utmost respect of his teammates.
I want to walk through, we're going to get to today's Knicks, obviously, and this ridiculous run, a run of 7 games that I don't think any of us have ever seen before, not just from the Knicks, maybe in the history
Magnificent
of the NBA.
7.
Going up by 50 points, it's just crazy. But I remember when I used to work with Boomer. Boomer's older than me, so your sneakers were something he had to have. And I wonder if there's a story behind how you got the Puma deal, or if there was anybody else coming after you at the time, and how did that deal get done?
Well, a guy who was working for Puma approached me about wearing the shoe. He goes, Clyde, the people at Puma would like to talk to you about wearing the shoe. So they had the...
Pardon me, what did you wear prior to that?
Everybody's wearing Converse.
Everybody, right.
Adidas was coming, but they were more on the West Coast.
Okay.
Pro Kids were down, but so I met with Puma, but the shoe was clunky and heavy. I go, man, even if you pay me, I can't wear that shoe. They go, no, man, we want you to help us design the shoe. So I helped design a lighter shoe, more flexible shoe, and they came out in suede. So the shoe
was that your design or they did it?
It was their design, yeah. But we sold so many shoes in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we didn't need the rest of the country, man.
And obviously just not shoes, but you mentioned social media before. I always wanted to ask you, because obviously your style and, in the 60s became such iconic, as well as Joe Namath and other guys. And I always wondered, you talk about difference in generation, like in that time, when you're trying to express yourself and wear your clothing and be that off the field, do you think social media would have changed? Like, I'm always curious, living in today, is it easier, harder to be iconic? Do you think you would have had any difference in how you went about things if social media was around? How much different life would have been for you with social media and the trappings of today?
Yeah, great question. I would not have been Clyde.
Yeah.
Olsen would know I'm out at 3 or 4 in the morning.
That's true, too.
You would have been in a lot of trouble, by the way.
Right. So, no, the scrutiny now, remember JR when he was with the Knicks?
Right.
Yeah.
They had him at nightclubs and hanging out. Everybody's looking at you and reporting what you're doing, taking pictures of you.
Right.
So when I was doing my thing, nobody was, out there watching me. We could hang out late.
Right.
There was no shoot around.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. That started when the Lakers, when they won 33 consecutive games. that's when they started the shoot around. I hated that coach.
Talking to the great Walt Frazier. So much to talk about with you. Let's do current day Knicks. We'll get back to your life and history in a second. I made the comment on the air that it seems like it took Mike Brown and the team collectively 85 games to figure out who they are, right? Because all of a sudden, Cat playing a lot of point, even half court, kind of like Joker does in Denver, with the big size, seeing the entire half court. He's a great distributor of the rock as well. But it seems like it took them the entire regular season and then the first 3 games of the series against the Hawks to recognize we've got this superpower. Why don't we use it? Do you see it the same way?
Well, it's still inexplicable. I mean, they've tried to go with Cat, going through him, going through Brunson. So they relied on Brunson. He's
right.
The guy, Mr. Clutch. So down the stretch, he's going to have the ball. And then all of a sudden, I was impressed with Cat's passing.
Yeah.
Very good
he averaged
passing.
about 3 assists, but he could do more, man. The guy's a dazzling passage that he makes off the bounce. So he added a new dimension to what they were doing. So sometime with Brunson, they became stagnant because of the dribbling. The ball wasn't moving.
Right.
So now they've got option with Brunson. They can go to Cat. So this type of continuity, you mentioned the last 7 games. I'm like, who are these guys?
Yeah. Yes, because we didn't see it during the regular season at all.
No,
But
man.
they've now done.
No, and you've seen basketball for forever. Can you ever remember, again, they still have a lot more to do, but can you remember a team that clicked and suddenly played this dominant in the postseason? Because we're trying to rack our brains thinking of another 7-game stretch. And again, opponents are different and everything, but they just absolutely dominated the last 7 games, unlike I can ever remember seeing. Do you remember any team going on a run like that through the postseason?
No, and the things they're doing takes time.
Yeah.
Like Bridges going back door, Hart going back door, Bridges getting out in transition. Guys coming up, Deuce coming with the threes, I'm like, man, how they pick that up, they can't be practicing that.
Really?
Because some of it's first team, the second team, so these guys are not working together.
Right.
So
just a natural vibe of a
develop
game.
that continuity and spontaneity they've had, man. It's been mesmerizing.
Let's talk about Mike Brown a bit. I maybe have more insight than some because of my relationship with the Garden and the Knicks as far as why they said goodbye to Tom Thibodeau. No need to get into that now. But Mike Brown's the antithesis of Tom Thibodeau. He's not a yeller and screamer, yet he's doled out tough love too. He did it with Cat earlier in the year, did it with Bridges when he wasn't playing well, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, sat him down in the fourth quarter of games. Walk me through what you see from your courtside seat, how the guys have reacted to Mike Brown, how Mike Brown has evolved over the course of this year with this team.
Well, being in the game, respect. If you don't have respect, these guys won't play for you. So he's got their respect.
Did he have it from day one?
No, you have to earn it. Respect is something you got to earn it.
So even though he's got a good resume, won a championship,
it means nothing. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
right.
That's real.
Right. So now they see that this guy's been there, done that, and hey, man, we can give 100% for him. That's what we did for Red Holzman.
Right.
He had the respect of Frazier Reed, the last guy on the team, because he never saw color. You work hard in practice, you get in the game. There was only one set of rules for everybody. So he never showed favoritism. So everybody always gave 110% for him.
You brought up something interesting to me. When you, back then, late 60s, obviously into the 70s, did you ever talk to pals in the NBA? You brought up race. It's an interesting conversation to have. Did other guys have completely different experiences from a racial standpoint, where maybe there's a certain coach that his background was, if I could keep the black ball player out, I'm going to, and that type of thing. Did you ever talk to guys that had that kind of experience?
Yeah. They didn't like the coach because of that.
Right.
They knew he wasn't, like Bill Bradley, right? The brothers say about Bill Bradley, he's straight up at 12 o'clock. He doesn't have a
Walks with the stick of his ass. I got it.
Right. He's straight up at 12 o'clock, man. You talk about Bradley. So some coaches, they know that they're not like that.
Right.
So there's a stigma, there's a little gulf between them.
Sure.
So the players sometimes hold back. They don't give 100%.
Talking to the great Walt, Clyde Frazier. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours. Let's get into, I know you made the comment on national TV when you were interviewed in one of the big blowouts against Atlanta, that in the moment you thought, interesting matchups. Do I want Boston? Do I want Philly? You thought the Celtics would have been not easier, but a better matchup. Obviously, we sweep through Philadelphia, and now we're all sitting watching what might become this classic a round of the playoffs between Detroit and Cleveland. Cleveland gets to win in overtime last night. Give me a little handicapping as you see those two teams for the Knicks.
I don't know what has happened to the Pistons. They become a one-man team, just Cunningham.
Right.
Durham has vanished. He was an all-star. Robinson can't buy a basket. I mean, Harris is up and down. So I think they're done.
You do?
Yeah.
You think Cleveland takes them out in 6?
I think Cleveland's going to take them out.
Which would mean the Knicks would play Cleveland at the Garden Sunday.
See, now I'd rather play the Pistons than Cleveland. But because we have the home court, that should be enough to get us over.
I agree. And then we can worry about the Thunder later on.
That's it.
I got to get through this first, obviously. You've lived such an interesting life. And I wonder, I'm just trying to hit some of the highlights of the things you got to experience in life now at 81 years old. And if memory serves, you were in the building for Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, 1971.
Right.
So now you're a champion already because 70 you guys obviously win. Walk me. Look, I got the Ali sweatshirt on. I'm an Ali guy and grew up a big boxing fan. My grandfather won the Golden Gloves in New York in the 30s twice as a middleweight. So we grew up boxing. Walk me through for you, a guy who's celebrated as one of the great athletes in New York City, what that night was like walking into Madison Square Garden for Ali Frazier.
I've never seen anything else like it. I mean,
to this day.
Yeah, Linsanity came close. But the Knicks gave us ringside tickets to the fight.
Okay.
So on the outside, Craig, limos were triple parked all around Madison Square Garden. Every celebrity, known celebrity, Sinatra was taking pictures, right? Like a cameraman or something.
Right.
So everybody was there, man. I'll never forget, after the fight, we couldn't believe what we witnessed. Everybody was like mesmerized and when is the next fight? We couldn't
You have to go back.
Because
I assume the crowd was all pro Ali, right?
Right, they were pretty much
because Joe's
Ali.
from Philadelphia, obviously, and Muhammad Ali was what he was, and it's so important to this country, civil rights, and all that.
They became even more Ali when Frazier decked him and knocked him over, and he got up.
He got pissed.
They knew that took a lot of heart to come back from that. So they gained more respect for Ali and his courage for doing that. Obviously, I'm a Frazier guy because of the name Frazier.
Right.
Right. I'm rooting for Frazier.
You got to keep your lip tight, though. Have to look around like, I'm not telling anybody.
Right, but before the fight, they had Ali entertained us.
The night of the fight?
No, before the fight, they brought in a lot of celebrities and we had dinner, and Ali came out, and doing his thing, saying his jokes and everything. So Frazier was there. They used to train in Madison Square Garden. Yeah,
I did not know that.
No. Yeah. You could go down. They should run in Central Park.
Yeah, I've seen videos or pictures of the guys training. I never knew that they got to spar at the Garden before the fights. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He used to work out. Well, Ali, the other guys used to be isolated. They go up in the Catskills for months.
Yeah.
But Ali be in the city, hanging out, working out, just having fun, man. He was an amazing guy.
After Spink Speed Ali, when Spink Speed Ali, he was training up in the Catskills for the next fight. And we went up there to watch him train. And my dad went up to him and asked him for an autograph for me and my brother Jeff. So Leon Spinks wrote, "To Jiff and Crit." Whatever he wrote after that. I'm like, man, my name's not Crit. And his name's not Jiff. My dad goes, "You get what you get. Shut up. We're getting out of here."
Yeah.
Was when you walked into the building that night, or I guess even prior to that, when you got to meet Ali, because of who he was, were you starstruck with him?
I met him earlier, before he was famous, when they called him the Louisville Lip.
Okay, when he was Cassius Clay.
Yeah. I met him, man, and you in a room with him, you can't get in a word. He doesn't shut up. He's just talking. So and then I knew some guys that work with him. So I was familiar with Ali, but he never followed sports, man. He hardly,
So he had no idea who you guys were.
Right. He wasn't up on football, basketball, that kind of stuff. He was just into boxing and his thing.
Right.
Was there anybody else in the New York scene? I mentioned Joe Namath before, obviously, but as a superstar in New York City in the early 70s, late 60s, a lot, the end of Mickey Mantle's career, but what was it like being the king of New York during that time period? And did you have relationships with some of the other New York athletes?
Oh, yeah. Remember in 1970, we won the Mets, the Jets.
Right, yeah.
So my guys were Shamsky.
Okay, Art Shamsky.
Yeah. Cleon Jones, Tommy Agee.
And you hang out with all these guys.
Yeah. That time the Yankees weren't that good, so it was mostly the Mets.
I think Cleon Jones caught the first pitch of today's game, or maybe yesterday's game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was out there in a suit. I think it was today. He was out there. I forget, there's someone's son or grandson threw out the first pitch today to Cleon Jones.
Oh, wow.
It was Willie Mays' grandson threw out the first pitch to Cleon Jones today.
See, back in the day, I used to date Willie Mays' daughter.
Is that right?
Really?
Yeah.
How's that conversation go between you and Willie?
So then you had Matt Snell, Emerson Boozer.
Right, of course.
And Joe, Joe's the only guy making money. We were just having fun.
That's right. He was paying for every bar tab. He also had a bar, back in the day that they made him give up.
And then Bradley came in with the big contract.
Okay.
That's why they dubbed him Dollar Bill.
Because he was making money.
Yeah. He came and signed the biggest contract ever. When
And it
he
took
came
him a while to get in with it, right? He was from college. It didn't go great for him at the beginning of his career with the Knicks, and then it took some time for him to find himself in his role.
Yeah, because he wasn't quick enough to be a backcourt.
He was
man.
highly touted, though, right? He was very good in college. He was coming over a big name, Bill Bradley, big signing, but it took him some time to find his game.
Yeah. He was more of a forward. Mm-hmm. See, and then with our team, we had to feature him because he couldn't really get his shot off one-on-one.
Okay.
So we ran plays to get Bradley involved. He was an excellent passer, excellent shooter.
Right.
So 69-7, we epitomized team. Mm-hmm. Can't mention Frazier without Bradley, without DeBush, without Reed, without Barnett, man. And that's how we played the game. Holtzman was the catalyst. If you don't play as a team, you don't play. You don't play defense, you're not getting in the game.
Right.
So
makes it easy to pass. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And then let's fast forward to Earl the Pearl, who I adore. Did they come and talk to you first? Because there's going to be a ball issue, right? Who gets the ball? You're the best scorer on the team. Became arguably the best backcourt in the history of basketball. But I wondered, did you have a relationship with Earl prior to the Knicks bringing him in? And did you guys have to talk and make sure you were both going to be cool with the plan in sharing a backcourt?
Well, can you believe the Knicks never asking me anything?
Is that right?
I read it in the paper just like everybody
You had
else.
no idea that they were going after Earl the Pearl?
No, I had no idea. But
That's so disrespectful.
Well, in those days it was different.
Yeah,
I guess
the owners rule. The owners rule.
Right.
Not like the day
But
the
you're
players.
still 1970 happened.
Yeah.
You're a champion. You're the best player on the team, and you woke up to the New York Post saying, "Oh, by the way, the Knicks are bringing in Earl Monroe."
Right, and I'm reading where we need two basketballs to function.
I would have
together.
written the same thing. By the way, he was Black Jesus.
Yeah.
Like you brought Black Jesus here. You're not getting the ball. Jesus is getting the ball.
But see, what they overlooked our mutual respect for each other from being competitors. So my friends used to say, "What do you guys say, man?" I said, "We say nothing." They go, "Come on, man, you all over that guy like that." I said, "Man, sometimes I say Earl, good shot, and sometimes he'll say Clyde, good defense."
That's it.
So that was our relationship. So when he came to the team, we never let our egos get involved.
From jump. From
Right.
like day one, you guys were good.
Well, it was on Earl because Earl said, "Hey, man, it's Clyde's team. I'm here just to try to make it work. I
That's
want to
cool.
win a championship, so I'm going to do whatever I have to do."
Music to your ears.
Right.
And Red Holtzman's, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like that's the right answer right there.
So we never had a problem with who got the ball, when we got the ball. So, it's our character that was on display.
We're going to talk more about the upcoming series, whether it's Detroit or Cleveland in a second, with Walt Frazier. Throughout the Eastern Conference Finals, that's right, back-to-back visits to the Eastern Conference Finals. MSG Networks is hosting hour-long pregame and postgame coverage for every Knicks playoff game. Bill Pito, Alan Hahn, Wally Zerbiak are in studio with Alex
What are those
Monaco.
guys doing in the studio? What are you doing with them?
Yeah, well, Wally's boring, everybody. The other two guys are talking basketball. Knicks watch parties interviewing fans. That's Alex Monaco. She's got that. They also bring in Monica McNutter, does a great job throughout as well. There'll be in-arena pre- and post-game throughout the Eastern Conference Finals. And they'll have tons of Knicks alumni as guests throughout the shows. Walt, one of the great things I think about this run and last year's run is how many former Knicks have come back. That was not always the case. Excuse me, at Madison Square Garden. I know you love it too, don't you?
Yeah, well, it starts with the new management. Leon
That's
and those
Leon
guys, West, those guys wanted to bring the guys back, even with me, the way they have me traveling with the team now and I'm not working.
Let me stop you there. Mike Breen's going to do every game in the finals. ESPN has the rights to it. So New York Knicks fans are going to be happy we get Breen. Has it ever been a thing to you, you're like, man, I do all these games, all these years, and I used to get the first round because it was local on MSG. Like, do you wish you were sitting next to Mike doing these games, or are you cool not doing it?
Yeah, especially the first round. That's what we were accustomed to. So, yeah, it was devastating not to be a part of that. Yeah.
I see that. So good. So Worldwide West, Leon Rose. I'll say this about Jim Dolan, who I consider a dear friend, and he's gotten a bad rap over the years. He's really the impetus behind it. He's been so good to so many former players that I'm sure he gets a great amount of joy out of seeing all these guys come back and the camaraderie that all you guys have, considering it's also about 2 or 3 different generations of Knicks players.
Yeah, and look at the guys Dolan hires. He's got Allen there. He's got Spreewell there. He's got LJ. He's got Starks. So it's like a family reunion. When I go to the game, I see these guys. You think of the memories. I saw Spencer Haywood the other night, McAdoo when they come back. And these guys are delighted to be back, man, to be remembered at this point, that the team appreciates something that you did so long ago, man.
When you guys are all sitting there, does John Starks try to make you buy a Kia? Or did that...
Don't sit near Starks and Marbury. You won't be able to watch the game.
It's up and down, up and down.
I know.
Yeah.
He's practically at the foul line.
And by the way, Steph's the youngest of all, but he could still play, it looks like, if he wants to.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad they repaired that relationship. Yeah, because there was a point where it looked like Steph might not be welcome back in the Garden. So
Spree.
Yeah, and Latrell coming back. I love Latrell.
And everybody talked to me about the Oak Man. We wish that could be worked out.
That's a different story,
too,
unfortunately.
Yeah. But,
is there any, I'm sure you want them to win, but is there any satisfaction, or I shouldn't even say satisfaction, but the idea that you are the last champion of the Knicks? It's been too long, right? So the feeling is just everyone's pulling for another championship, but there's a little bit of you man, it's been a long time, and I'm still the only guy to bring a championship here.
94 I thought was our year.
Yeah.
I thought we should have won that year. But when I played, we had a veteran team. So we realized we were playing in the greatest city in the world's most famous arena, best fans.
No doubt.
So, hey, man, we can't let nobody take this away from us.
In 94, so you were not broadcasting the finals. When did you become aware of NBC having Bob Costas cut in to the finals and start showing us O.J. Simpson in the white Bronco?
Well, I was doing the radio.
Oh, you were on radio?
Yeah, I was doing the radio.
So when did you become aware of all that? During the broadcast or after?
Yeah, we were watching, because we have the monitors out there. So we said, I can see the right Bronco now.
Did you know O.J. at all?
Yeah, I knew Juice. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, he used to come to the games. We used to leave him tickets. Remember, he was in Buffalo.
That's right.
At the time. He was running, so he was a very friendly guy.
Did you ever get to meet Earl Manigault?
Yeah, I played against him in the Rucker.
Can you walk me through that? Because to me, he's an urban legend. All right, a stack of quarters off the top of the backboard, jumps out of the gym, et cetera, et cetera. Best street ball player maybe in New York history. Walk me through. And I know he unfortunately fell in bad times, and drugs got him, as it does so many people, unfortunately. But how good a player was he?
Well, first of all, the Rucker. My introduction to the Rucker, I played on the team with Willis.
Really?
Yeah. So I go up there. People are hanging off the walls, on top of roofs, in the trees. You could barely get on the court. So Willis go down and shoot a shot. The guy block his shot. It was like a video game. Where guys I never saw before jumping all up in the basket.
Really?
Yeah. I was intimidated, man.
Yeah.
I was like, what the?
The great Walt Frazier intimidated by street ballers, basically.
Yeah, man. So you mentioned Nadegaard, all these guys, man, they, like you say, they were drug guys, so they could never conform to rules.
Right.
They get to the Rucker at halftime.
When's the game start? It started a half hour ago.
Yeah, but, it was a fabulous time for being in New York when they had the Rucker going. It was a good thing for the street ballers. That's where Dr. J gained his fame.
Lou Alcindor, of course,
Sure.
played a bunch of games.
Yeah,
on
the day I
streets in New
played,
York.
I'm leaving the court. I see Wilt Chamberlain. I see Oscar Robertson coming. They were playing in the games as well.
Crazy. Think about the star talent. Mm-hmm. Playing at just a random street about 3 miles north of where we're sitting right now. And
nobody got paid. You're just doing this for fun.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, the guys that were retired, the drug dealers got paid. Right, because they had a lot of money on those games. You guys did it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
You guys just wanted to play, and it was could you make an argument that some of those games were more competitive than NBA games?
Yeah, they were more physical. They were rough because they people wanted goaltending.
Right.
That was part of the game. I mean, and being physical. So the physicality was off the charts as opposed to being in the NBA. But this guy, Nanigal, so maybe he's 6'4", 6'5", but he's playing in the pivot. He's not doing that in the NBA.
Right.
No.
He's got to come out on the perimeter. He wasn't a good ball handler. So
we've kind of exaggerated him a little bit in his passing.
Right.
Did you played in the Maurice Stokes game up at Kutcher's?
Maurice Stokes game? Yeah, we always
So
played in that.
I was at camp there one summer, and I put a quarter into a soda machine trying to get a Mellow Yellow out of the soda machine, and it wouldn't come out. So, I'm 9 years old. I'm kicking this thing. All of a sudden, a huge hand comes over my shoulder, and he says, "Son, it'll be okay. I'll get you the Mellow Yellow." I look up, Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt.
And Maurice Stokes was a player who fell in hard times. I think he was in a wheelchair. I think he had physical ailments as well.
Right.
But every summer, all these guys would go up there, like the greats of the greats, which I don't think guys today would do. I went up to this little barn. It was not NBA regulation. It was a barn up at Kutcher's, we call the Kutcher Sports Academy. And every year, you guys always went to support Maurice Stokes. I thought that was awesome.
Jack Twyman was the guy behind that. Jack had played with him, yeah. So Will used to be like a bus boy at
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
A little summer job?
Yeah,
Can you imagine if, like, a player today needing a summer job?
No.
Like, hey, wait a minute. Aren't you Donovan Mitchell? Like, you're bus boying today?
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up with some talk on Eastern Conference Finals. Let's assume OG's back at 100%. That's the benefit of having the week off. Josh's hand, 100%. Matchup problems with either Detroit or Cleveland, anything that would jump out for you, for Knicks fans, that would be concerning for you matchup-wise?
Well, we play Cleveland. We've dominated them mostly in history in the playoffs. But they've got two guys, Allen and Mobley, man, that could be problems. They could be a problem. But their backcourt is what I fear. Now with Harden, they've got Mitchell. And they've got Schroeder, clever, slick.
I hate that guy.
He has been a long time Nick nemesis.
I cannot stand that guy.
And so now you're looking at Brunson. Where do you put Brunson? Not only that, but he's going to have to play defense.
Right.
So that's going to take away a little maybe from his offense. So they could be daunting, but I like that we have the home court advantage, and I think that should be enough.
And do you prefer going, let's say, 9 deep, which is something that Thibodeau would never do? Do you think it does make the Knicks a better team, a more difficult team to play against when you bring Alvarado in? Not a great offensive player, but, man, a beast on defense. We're actually, I think, the best defensive team in the East. I think the Thunder's the best defensive team out West. But do you like the fact that Mike goes 8-9 deep every night?
We just saw the advantage of the depth that we have against the Sixers.
Yeah.
Right.
They were huffing and puffing. So we wore them down, and I think we have the best depth in the league right now. If we go up against the Pistons, or if we play the Cavaliers, we have the depth on them. So
are you saying today on this show, Walt, Clyde, Frazier on the Carton show with Big Mac, the New York Knicks are going to the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I think so, man. I'm very optimistic. Like I say, the home court. If Cleveland had the home court, I might go with them. Might be the only thing separating them. But since the Knicks have that, and if they are healthy, we definitely should get there.
With the way they're playing, and obviously they had that stretch in the mid to late 90s, would you say, because I think we've talked about this a little bit, would you say the team right now is the best since your team? Best Knicks team since your team?
Well, I have to put you and those guys in at a 94 team. Yeah, I like that team as well.
Tough.
Yeah, they were tough.
Basketball is also different. Like, you had games 80-74.
Right,
like, that doesn't
different
exist today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we talked about the nuances and everything that changed the game, but being around these Knicks players, I know they have character, they have pride. Like I say, they remind me so much of my team. Brunson, like the captain, what he does. Cat now, how he's elevated his game.
Does he frustrate you at all when he takes sometimes the silly foul, that he's better than that, he knows better than that? Does that frustrate you at all?
Yeah, because we need him out there.
Yeah.
That foul is costing you 2 minutes every time you foul.
Right.
So you can't do that.
He barely played, by the way, in the last couple games against Philly. He was in foul trouble throughout that series. Like, which means he's healthy. Like, he's good. He's good.
But that has been the beauty of this team.
Yeah.
The mantra, next man up.
Yeah.
Right.
When OG went down, look how they stepped up.
Dominated.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that.
So right now it's a collective effort. It's not Cat. It's not Brunson. It's Hart.
Yeah.
It's Bridges. It's OG.
Yeah.
It's Shumpert coming off the bench. All of these guys, Deuce. So it's a collective effort. When you have that going, maybe one or two guys are not playing well, but it's not affecting the team.
Is it true that you want your nickname to be changed from Clyde to Game 7? Is there any truth to that, Clyde?
If they keep winning, we'll work
It's
on
still
it.
the best Game 7 in the history of basketball, what you did.
Yeah, I always say that. 36 and 19, 7 rebounds,
Yeah.
Oh, you know the stats. Interesting
No,
that you
of
remember
course.
the numbers.
4 steals. But who's counting?
Apparently nobody that night. No, did Willis ever apologize to you? They say, man, it's not my fault. You should have this trophy.
You know, we never talked about that. We never
Really?
discussed. Even, I knew Willis got me traded.
Really?
Yeah, but we never, because of my respect for him and our good outweighed the bad, we never discussed any of those.
Did you harbor any resentment for a minute or
No,
no?
never did. In the beginning, I did.
Right.
Because I thought it was the end of the world, and then getting traded to Cleveland, the
Of all
worst
places.
place. Yeah.
Not a good place to be. Yeah.
So, but when I thought back of all the things I've learned from him and the success we had, so when I see the captain, I just smile, man. When he passed away, I was devastated.
Yeah, everybody was. No, he was a great Nick and a great guy.
They don't make him like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like Bill Bradley, they don't make him like that anymore.
Did you think when Bernard King made it into the Hall of Fame that we should have retired his number? He played only 200 games as a Knick, which is the argument against it. And look, I love Bernard, know Bernard well. I'm glad he's in the Hall of Fame. He was one of the great scorers. Obviously, his knees gave out on him. He had some other issues that well documented. Did you think that James and the Knicks brass would retire it, and do you think they should have?
Well, like you alluded to, he doesn't have a long resume.
Right.
Should it be Melo? Melo has a longer resume. He's a Hall of Famer. I think eventually they should vote those guys in.
Yeah.
Because of what it does for you. You walk a little taller. Hey, man, it's quite an honor to be.
How did you find out when you got in? Who makes that phone call? Do you remember that?
I think my agent called me and told me the Knicks were retiring my number. I was speechless.
Really?
Yeah, because I was only the second guy. Willis was the first guy.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. You're the second Knick to have his number retired.
Right, behind
Even
the
there,
captain.
Willis Reed goes ahead of you. Like, what are we doing over there? So your agent called you and said, you're going into the Hall of Fame, and by the way, the Knicks are retiring your jersey?
Retire your number, yeah.
Yeah, I assume, don't say it on the air, I assume you cursed, and we're in total disbelief, right?
Yeah, but what a magnificent honor, and I can recall it like yesterday, bringing my mother, my grandmother, and my whole family coming to New York. So, yeah.
So
I
your
get
mom,
the goosebumps now.
your mom lived long enough to see all the success.
Yep.
What a great treat for her.
Yeah.
Right?
My mom's the biggest Knicks fan, man. She was number one. So
When you growing up in Atlanta, were you a multi-sport athlete?
yeah, I played football. I was a quarterback. I was a catcher in baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have any opportunities to play beyond high school?
I didn't pursue it because of segregation. I wasn't heavily recruited.
Is that
I was
right?
almost literally a walk-on at Southern Illinois.
Really?
They didn't know me. I didn't know them.
What was that experience like when you walked on that campus for the first time?
I was petrified. I'd never been around white people before. We had 25,000 students when I went to say.
Right.
So maybe 6,000 blacks, mostly from Chicago and St. Louis.
Did you ever consider going back home and leaving?
What do you mean?
Like when you first went to college, was it so daunting and so different for you that you maybe called home and said, I can't do this, I'm not staying here, I need to go somewhere else?
I cried a lot of nights. I'd never been that cold before, but I'm the oldest of 9 kids, Craig. I have 7 sisters and 1 brother.
Wow. You guys are outnumbered.
So this is my way out. When I open the refrigerator, all I used to see were water bottles, man.
Really?
Yeah, so I had to stick it through it. I had to fight through it.
You had to stick through it because you represented a financial opportunity for your family.
At the time, I wasn't looking financial. I was looking at being the first to go to college. When I was coming up, I was a role model before I knew what the word meant.
God, because you're the oldest.
Right, because when my parents say, Walt, you got to do this. Walt, you got to do that. The way that I dressed, the way I dressed is because when I used to go downtown, my mother would say, put on your best clothes, your best manners. You're not only representing the Frazier family, but black people as well.
Wow.
So this is instilled in me everywhere I go. The Frazier family. When I was faced with drugs and alcohol, first thing I think, what would my mother think?
Really?
What would my parents think if I did this?
She was that powerful a figure for you.
Yeah, right.
Like
And she was the catalyst for me for sports. Excuse me, when I was growing up, my mom, the only thing she ever talked about was having a house with a big kitchen. She loved to cook.
Right.
So when I'm 14 or 15, I used to pray every night, God, please let me be a football player, a basketball player, that I could buy my mom this house. So she was the catalyst for everything that I did.
Were there other athletes in the family, whether they be your siblings, your
My
folks,
brother-
your uncles, anyone?
Well, my uncle was the catalyst for my being in sports. He was the guy that taught me about manhood, pride, giving 100%, teamwork. But my brother played in college too, but my brother's the youngest. He's last. He could
So
not.
it went boy, seven girls, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was such a magnificent kid, they kept trying to get another son.
Trying to recreate it.
But my brother couldn't handle the pressure of being Walt Frazier's brother because there's the
I can see that.
expectations.
Sure.
So he quit the team. His
Really?
refrigerator was full at this point.
Yeah.
He
Right.
didn't have that hunger
didn't-
that I had to have.
Right.
So,
Because you put a whole family on your back based on this God-given skill you had.
right. So,
Did you dominate in high school? Was it like stupid how much better you were than everybody else?
yeah, my junior, senior year, we were city champs.
You were unstoppable.
Nobody beat us. I was all city quarterback. My idol was Johnny Unitas. I could throw
Really?
the bomb like
You could
50,
sling it?
60 yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
wish there was video of that.
Yeah,
It's like
Johnny
Allen
U.
Iverson. Allen Iverson was, two-way. He was a great
Yeah,
quarterback.
the highlight reel of
coming
him
up,
returning kicks and stuff.
Yeah.
Is special.
So
yeah.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah.
And you were a catcher?
A catcher in baseball.
You're too tall to be a catcher in baseball,
Yeah, that
aren't
was
you?
probably my worst sport was
I would
baseball.
say, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Because it's the toughest.
Yeah, there you go. The tough. We had this argument. All right, we had Alex Rodriguez on the show last week, and I have a theory. Now you played multiple sports, so you're a good guy to ask this question. If blindfolded, I got 100 basketball players over there, I got 100 football players over there, I got 100 baseball players over there. Blinded, I throw a dart. The first 10 guys from each group I bring out. I'm of the belief if those 10 guys for each sport had a decathlon, the baseball players have no chance to win. Your take on that?
Yeah, but as far as the most difficult sport, baseball, to hit a baseball is the most difficult thing. If you got in a basketball game, you might score a basket.
I think I would.
Right. If you got in a football game, you might catch a ball
No
and
doubt.
maybe run for a yard.
Yeah, as you've heard, hands of glue.
Right.
So I'm with you.
In baseball, you're not guaranteed. You could go up there.
Damn
You're right. You
Sadly,
might not
that's
hit the
true.
ball, man. Right. You're right. Once they throw one at your head and then you try.
By the way, I take it off. I go home.
So
I wait for an Uber to pick me up.
I would say baseball would be the most difficult thing to do is hit a baseball.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you look back fondly on your childhood?
Oh, yeah. My childhood, I had so much fun. Everything was, this is who I am, Walt Frazier. Everything is there. I'm standing on the shoulders of so many. I was raised by this village, consisting of my parents, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my coaches, that all got me to this point, man. They were the catalyst for why I'm successful today, and my thoughts, my beliefs, why I give back, who I am.
It's a great American story is what it is. I've always
Yeah.
felt the way about you.
And then being in New York, like we said, you can't buy respect. When I walk around, people respect me, keeps me humble. If you come to the game, that's why you see me smiling, signing autographs.
Life's good.
Yeah, life is good. Like you said, 81 years old, I'm still relevant. I'm still working,
Yeah.
having an impact.
And let me ask you about that. Is there a retirement plan? Like, have you considered, obviously you're 81 years old, have you thought about, hey, this would be a good time for me to say it's my last season, or do you not consider that?
No, as long as I'm coherent, I'm having fun. I enjoy it every day. When I was coming up, a coach once told me, he said, Frazier, if you find something you like to do, man, you'll never have to work another day in your life.
Very true.
So I've been blessed to be with the Knicks organization half of my life. 10 years as a player, 30 years as a broadcaster.
Wow.
So I can truthfully say, Craig, I haven't worked in the last 40 years.
Yeah, I have, sadly. This
I
guy's
haven't worked in the last 40 years.
carrying
man.
this guy around's work.
It's not easy.
When who first, I'm sorry, I know we're going to let you go 20 minutes ago. Who first came to you and said, By the way, I think you'd be a good broadcaster. Why don't you give it a shot?
A guy named Pete Silverman. He was working at the Garden. At the time, I was just inducted to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1987. So I was doing a series of interviews with Marv and stuff. So that's when they approached me about perhaps doing some radio and TV.
And were you like, nah, no interest at all? Or was the idea of being able to, teach basketball fans and talk basketball and stay relevant, as you said, what was the driving force to want to do it before you'd ever done it before?
Well, at the time I was an agent. I used to represent players, and I was I was disenchanted with that. So I said, maybe, I'll try it. So I used to do a pregame show, halftime, postgame.
Okay.
So the catalyst for me was the great Marty Glickman.
Of course.
After each game, Marty would critique me.
Really?
Yeah. So he told me, Clyde, when you're on radio, you have to assume the audience is blind. They can't see. The guy's not on the baseline. He's on the right baseline. He's at the top of the key.
So he taught you the fundamentals.
So you got to be more descriptive in what you're doing.
Did you know at the time that you were learning from one of the greats of all time, who, by the way, was also a great athlete himself? Obviously, famously couldn't run in the Olympics with Jesse Owens because he was Jewish.
Right.
Like, did you know who he was at the time?
Yeah. I knew the history of Marty, yeah. Well, I used to listen to him do the Giant games.
Okay.
I used to turn down the TV and listen to him because of his voice.
I told Big Mac this months and months ago, because, again, it's a generational thing. I said, do you know who Jim Carvallis is? He goes, never heard of him. And I go, oh, my gosh. Like, if you were a Knicks fan in the 80s,
Right.
Bullseye and did you work with Jim at all? You must have, right?
Carpo was the guy that I worked with.
Yeah, he was
Carpo
great.
used to do the Bullet games with Earl the Pearl.
I didn't know that.
Before he came to New York.
That's crazy. And Bob Wolf, who was my mentor, was
Right.
here as well. Most people know Bob Wolf for the Don Larson Perfect Game and then the Westminster Dog Show.
Right.
Did you ever get asked to do the Westminster Dog Show?
No, I never did.
No?
Never did.
You don't have a lap dog, do you? You don't have one of these little poodles.
No, I never had a pet because of my schedule. I'm always on the road. I'm never
Smart
there.
man.
So, but I love horses and dogs and cats as well.
Well, listen, it's a great honor to have you
Yes.
here. I love you, you know that, and I appreciate you always taking some time out of your schedule to sit with us and talk basketball. Let me remind people before we say goodbye that throughout the Eastern Conference Finals, MSG Networks is hosting hour-long pregame and postgame coverage for every Knicks playoff game. Bill Pito, Alan Hahn, Wally Zerbiak in studio. Alex Monaco's at the Nick Watts parties, which have been great. She'll be interviewing you fans. Monica McNutt will be on the broadcast as well throughout the arena and outside the arena, pre and post game. And a bunch of Knicks alumni will be there as well. It's so good seeing you. I appreciate you very, very much coming in. And Godspeed to you. I hope we get to have you behind the microphone for another 20 years.
Yeah,
But it's
thanks.
great seeing you.
Kudos to the fans out there for your support. We definitely appreciate it. So let's go Knicks.
That's
Let's
it.
go Knicks.